Welcome to Fearless Females, where ambition meets resilience. Meet your guide, Lorie Jones, owner of Fearless Financial Advisors. Join her and remarkable women executives as they uncover the triumphs and transformative moments shaping extraordinary careers. Ready to be fearless? Let the journey begin.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us again here on Fearless Females. So today we have Candice Mitchell on the show, and she talks a lot about leadership and kind of how you develop that human-centered leadership. You guys, I know you've experienced this because you're all amazing women, and as you go through your career, you run into leaders who care about you as a person, try and develop you, move you forward, and, brag about you in rooms that you aren't. And you also run into leaders who take your work and count it as their own. They don't give you the recognition. They don't treat you as a person who has things like family to do outside of work. And these are the type of leaders that I don't love. They don't talk about you in rooms behind your back in good ways. They don't put you up for promotion. It's a scarcity mindset. They're scared to death of losing you because you're doing a lot of work. And so they don't move you forward. It is all about them and what you can do for them and keeping you where you're at rather than helping you grow and become something better. And Candice kind of delves right into that dichotomy between growing and developing leadership and staying stagnant. I think that one of the most important things that she said during our interview was, no one knows what you've done unless you tell them. She says, I can't scream that loud enough. And I feel like the same thing. You've got to speak up. Just putting your head down and doing the work really isn't going to get you where you want to go. You've got to tell people how great you are and how wonderful you are. And you can do it without being braggy. It can feel very authentic. And she's got some really good suggestions for that. So I really want you to hear this. And if this episode strikes you and speaks to you, makes you think of something, of some changes that maybe you hadn't thought of before, and you think of another fearless female out there who might be interested in hearing this message, go ahead, follow the podcast, share it. That is going to get these voices for these women amplified. I think we have some incredible and amazing women here on Fearless Females. And if the message strikes you, it will hit another woman in a place that she needs to hear. So share it. Let's get started with Candice. So today we have Candice Mitchell, and she is the CEO of the Talent Collective. I'm so excited to get to chat with you today, Candice. We've chatted on your podcast, and so this is kind of a round two, but I love our conversation. And so I'm really excited to have you share your insights with my guests. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. It was great chatting with you. So hopefully, we can add as much value to your listeners.
So my very first question is always, and I honestly thought about that this morning. I'm like, man, my pile of books is so big. Like, do I keep asking the question? But I do. I love reading. Tell me what your favorite book is.
Yeah. And if I can do two, because there's a business book that I love, and then there's also just a book that I read that has just recently kind of stuck with me. The story, the characters just really stuck with me. So the first book that I would recommend is actually called The Heart of Business for a New Era of Capitalism by Hubert Joly. And he was the CEO of Best Buy. And when he ended that career, he wrote the book. And I remember reading it. It wasn't something that I chose deliberately or anything like that. I was literally studying my master's, which I only studied 2 years ago, and I qualified when I was 40. And the title just hit me. I didn't know who he was. I didn't even really know about Best Buy, because I'm new to America. And I was like, read this book. And it is just one of those that I studied more. I did so much research into it, so many presentations on it, and I just loved it. I just thought, what if leaders led like this? It would just be a different corporate world. And so I loved that. And then the other one is just, I can't even remember the title, but it's something like The Words We Cannot Say. And that was just a story that I read, like a novel, because I try and read one business book and one non-business book. I alternate. So I love that. That is just one of those that made me cry. And like the characters, you feel like you know them and you're like, oh, how are they doing?
That's cool. Do you remember the author who wrote it? That sounds really good.
Yeah, I can definitely quickly look it up because it will be in my Audible. So I'll look it up and we can even
shoot that off. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm bad at remembering authors.
I know. And I delve into business books and I leave that storytelling world. And I think that kind of hits your creative brain and helps you to kind of think outside the box and think a little bit more broadly. So I love that when I get suggestions for both. That sounds really neat.
Okay, here it is. The Things We Cannot Say, and it's by Kelly Rimmer.
Okay.
New York Times best-selling. Oh, it was, still think about the characters.
That's great. I love that. I love that when a book like touches your life in that way and it kind of sticks around. So yeah. Tell me a little bit about your journey. Candice, tell me about how you got started. Like, did you know what you were going to be when you were really young? How did your career kind of unfold? Was it a straight line or sort of a circle? And where are you at? What are you doing today?
Yes. I mean, it's a little bit of both of those things. So when I was young, I actually did want to be a teacher. I loved my teachers, and I also had really bad teachers as well. So when I had a good teacher, I was like, whoa, this is what this is, like to have someone guide you and be that person. So I remember it's my grade 2 teacher, that was Mrs. Paikin, that was like still the most memorable teacher that I've had in my journey. But then when I was, in high school and we started doing the research of what we want to be, I realized teachers don't get paid anything. And I was like, okay, no, this is not for me. It's, it was the dream. And I took a couple gap years. I moved to London, did some odds and end jobs. And I came back and I realized, okay, I want to work with people. That is the common thread. And so I studied organizational psychology. And in my 4th year, so South Africa works a little bit differently to the US. You actually do years together. So you study with the same group throughout. And a 4th year is in between a degree and a master's. Uniquely South African. I think there's like some European countries that do it, but it's called an honors degree. So during this honors degree, in came a person that told us what she did, and it was in learning and development. And I was sitting there thinking, is this a job? Like, people get paid to do this? This sounds amazing. And I was sold ever since. So that one guest lecturer, to this day, I wish I could remember her name, because I would email her like, she literally changed the course of my life in that little, probably 20-minute chat. And so I chose it. I started off as a learning and development administrator. Within the 10 years at a corporate, I became a director. It was called the Learning and Development Process Optimization Lead. Sounds fancy, but basically I got to look at the whole learning and development infrastructure and ecosystem and see what's modern, how can we make this better. It was just awesome. Then I had my kids. I moved into consulting, and I say consulting like that because I was earning like equivalent of $200 a month when I started. I was pregnant with my 2nd child. It was like all the things, right? And I write about this in my book as well. So yeah, just having that sort of play business of like, you're not really, but I wanted to because I love my work so much. So I pushed. And eventually I did. I actually doubled my corporate salary in 18 months. So that was pretty cool.
That's a big lift.
But it was, and had a baby in those 18 months. So it was a thing. But I think I just genuinely love what I do. So I believe I'm good at it because I'm so interested in it. I just want to learn more about it. And I improve probably every single day of my career. I'm like, oh, we could do this better. We could do that better. I'm never done. And it's a gift to be here. Honestly, it truly is a gift to enjoy something so much. I wish that for everybody. And then, so we moved to America, did some corporate American stuff, and now I'm back consulting. So you asked me where I am now. I'm the CEO of the Talent Collective. I call myself a CEO and a creator because I also created the Talent Development Academy, which is a membership for learning and development professionals.
Oh, that's cool. So do you work on like the corporate side where you kind of teach the employees, you develop that sort of talent, or are you more like coaching? I don't or do you do all of it?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So yes, I can dig into this for days. So please stop me, guide me here, like interrupt. But yes, we develop learning and development professionals, both in corporate, so corporate teams, but also, funny enough, consultants. I didn't actually start out doing that, but we've attracted a few consultants coming in with the same need. They always say the same thing. I want to expand my impact for my clients. So I don't just want to come in and do this once-off training. I actually want to partner with them. I want to partner with them for a long time. Funny enough, and it was never intentional, but I consult with my clients and I'll end up spending 2 to 3 years with the same client. And I find that that's way easier than getting new clients all the time. And it's literally through this framework that we do. So the Talent Development Academy has 7 courses. We do 30 plus hours of coaching. And I say it's no one-way webinars. Like, please, we've had enough of that. So it's actually coaching. I am on the other end, or we get expert coaches in once a month at least to take people through little niches. So like how to facilitate for impact and that sort of thing. So we bring in expert coaches and I am there. I do office hours. We do some happy hours because we also need to connect and have fun and meet and build relationships, right? So yeah, we promise no less than 30 plus hours of live coaching for the membership, which is 12 months, and the 7 on-demand courses.
I love that. And that allows you to like develop those deep relationships and kind of really make an impact in these companies.
Yeah, that is the point. Again, love it. I love working with these people. And I really believe, and as I do more research, I truly believe learning and development is going to be that epicenter of the business. It has to be, because with this AI and all the turmoil in the world, that we need deep dive into the human and the human side of work, and learning and development people really sit at the epicenter of that. So yeah, again, privileged to support these people.
I love that. And I love people who love their jobs. It makes me so happy when they like what they do, because it brings a whole new sense of, oh, this is so cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Tell me, Candice, what is the best investment you've made in yourself? If you can kind of look back over your journey and just say, oh my gosh, I am so glad that I did this particular thing. It made all the difference.
Yeah. And that is so good, and such a good question to ask, because we are bombarded with choices. I was actually just saying to one of my board members today, I was like, there are so many opportunities to spend money, and I don't know where to spend the right money, for the right things and the value for money and all of that stuff. So I would say the best money I've spent is on a few business coaches that really have helped me think of myself as a business owner rather than just, like a consultant, and not just a consultant, because I love that part, but running a business where I'm not a bottleneck. So that has been really helpful for me, is a specific business coach that really helped me see setting up systems that are bigger than me, that can run without me, that I just stop getting in my own way. I've also spent some money on mindset coaching, which was huge, because at first I was like, why me? Who am I to think that I can possibly, train people up on this thing where they are experts. And, so I actually had to do a lot of mindset work. And through that, I believe that I am the person to take, people through this. I do know what I'm talking about. I am good at what I do. And that took a long time just for me to say it out loud. I'm still a little bit hesitant, and I can even still feel my chest closing and my throat. And I'm like, just to say that is hard,
Mm-hmm.
But so I've had to put a lot of work in that. So those are the big things that investment wise, money spent, that really helped me a lot.
Yeah, I noticed that even in my profession, that there's a lot of that, like imposter syndrome. Like, why should they be paying, me to do this? And I find that as women, a lot of times we downplay what we do rather than shout it from the rooftops.
Yes, and truly, that's why I honestly love what you're doing, and I would like to call this out, and hopefully, women listening, is to say yes more. So I've reached out, and it's a sad thing to admit, but I've reached out to a few people to, for example, sit on my Talent Collective council. The men say yes more than the women, and I'm like, I want fair representation on my board, but I'm not getting the yeses. And I'm wondering why. And I'm just wondering, like, do we struggle with trust? And that's not, I would love for more women, but yeah, I've got 75% men, 25% women on my board. And in fact, I'm still actually trying to convince the women to join. So yeah, that's when we say we need to believe in ourselves, we also need to believe in each other and be each other's like biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah, I find that too. Even like when I ask women if they'll do the podcast, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, I don't do anything cool. I don't do anything amazing." And then you find out, they agree, and you find out that they're just doing these absolutely groundbreaking work in a lot of different places. And you're like, how can you not know how cool you are?
I know, that is so true. Yes. Like, yeah, if you take one thing from this podcast is to firstly believe in yourself, but also just to say yes more. Like, I'll say it again, because yeah, when I reach out to people to be on my podcast, same thing. I had someone that helped me, and he was like, I'm going to help you for free to set up this podcast, but as long as you have fair representation, right? So I want to see 50% men and 50% women. And I'm like, yeah, sure. That has been harder to do than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Getting a woman to stand up and say how cool she is hard sometimes. And they are so